Welcome to the inaugural episode of Independent Artists Unite Song Series. I'm Scott Baker Graham, and I'm joined for our first show by Jimmy B from Tokyo Teens.
Yes,
Applause.
thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. This is a great idea that you had with this, moving forward with your series of interviews and talking with independent artists. I'm
Yeah,
really
and what
glad
we're
to
gonna
be
what we're
here.
gonna do, which and it's this idea I stole from you because when I did your Instagram live, it was so cool that you knew my songs in depth. And that was such a great experience for me. And you're asking these specific questions. Oh, what's this sound? What did you do
Mhm.
here? What were you thinking? And that for me was a dream come true. These are the kind of questions, that of course, you know, the top stars in music get to field questions like this, but independent artists perhaps don't get to as often. So I thought it would be a cool thing to give to other artists, starting with you. And
Thank you.
right off the bat, I just want to say, I think of Jimmy as like the mayor of this virtual village that I feel like you really connected a lot of people together. Me especially, I think I went up like 100 followers this last month on Instagram, just from the stuff that I do interacting with you and people that you introduced me to, people's music that and you really kind of charged me up because you're such a fan of music. And I realized, wow, there's a bunch of artists out there. There's a bunch of people doing really cool music and in this vein that's like dark wave, synth pop, goth pop kind of thing. So I want to thank you for all the artists that you brought together. You're one of a kind, really person with this amazing positive energy, and I'm a fan of you as a human being as well as your music.
Thank you
And
so much.
yeah,
Thank you. That's
and
I'm honored. I'm honored. I appreciate the kind words. Um, when I decided to start the Tokyo Teens project, it's really more than a project in my mind and in my heart. I look at it as a way to connect,
mm,
to connect with people just as people, and with other musicians as well, artistically. And just like you said, there is a huge number of independent artists that are putting out great music, great art. After all, that music is art, and we don't judge. We don't judge the art. We appreciate the art, and we all need the support of one another. So my thing going into this was, let's make some great music, let's connect with other people, and I felt if we could build some sort of network where we could lift each other up instead of tearing each other
mm,
apart. It's not a competition, we're fellow artists.
yeah, yeah.
And that was my goal. And I've met a lot of people, and I came across the great Scott Baker Graham, and you literally blew my mind with what you're doing currently. And I know that you have a
Oh,
long
thank you.
history, but it just literally blew me away. It's so creative, and I hate to use the term outside of the box, but that's, in my mind, it's outside of the box, and
Mm,
that's where my favorite music usually resides.
mm.
So thank you for the kind words. We're just trying to hop in all together and see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, that really leads us to the song of yours that we're gonna talk about today, which is "The Ghost" that you released about a week ago. And
Mhm.
because, well, tell the story about how this song came about, because this is interesting. It kind of sprung out of these efforts that to bring this community together.
Um, well, the very beginnings of this song, "The Ghost," came from a reel that I had seen one morning, and a friend of ours on Instagram, James Scultra,
Mm.
and I hope I'm pronouncing his name properly.
I think it's just
He
James K. Ultra. I think
James K.
James Ultra.
Ultra.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you think after
Who I
I
love.
spent
Who I love.
oh, absolutely, very creative, and you think after spending 3 years in the fifth grade, I would have figured out how to read more better. Uh, but anyway, I saw this reel one morning, and it's a particularly emotional morning for me because I've gone through some personal setbacks and recently, uh, and so I was particularly sensitive, and I saw this
Mm,
reel, and he had composed a musical piece, and he had set this musical piece to a clip from a movie called A Ghost Story.
mm,
And I had never seen the movie, nor had I ever heard of the movie, but the storyline is a man passes away, becomes a ghost, and stays in the house that he had lived in with his wife. And so he's looking at his wife, he's watching her suffer, figure out what to do, doesn't know how to move on with her life. And he's certainly he's stuck there, and
mm,
he is looking at her. It's painful. So that's the basis of the basic storyline of the movie. But I was so touched by this reel, I just couldn't get it out of my head. It was just amazing, this
mm,
clip and the music that went to it. And so I immediately just started writing down some lyrics, and I was thinking about how to put some music to these lyrics, and this is where the part two of the story comes in. Now, you and I had done an Instagram live chat a few months prior to this, and
yeah.
you revealed some of your recording secrets to me,
Yeah.
and and now that it's public, I feel like I've got the green light to go
Yeah.
ahead and mention this
Oh
again.
yeah. I'm green lights. I'm green lights all the way.
Awesome. Okay. So, and the big secret, which just tripped me out, so to
Yeah.
speak, is that you record your music on an iPhone.
Mhm.
And I couldn't believe it. It was just so amazing to me. And that inspired me directly to record some piece of music somewhere on an iPhone as well. I was just so amazed by this. And we know that we can do through GarageBand on our iPhones. Sure, we can record things and put things together like that. But and that's kind of how I was introduced to just recording myself like that. So anyway, I thought, well, this would be the perfect song. I think I could put something together, and using inspiration from that, I recorded the music for this song, The Ghost, on my iPhone, and then I imported that into uh, Logic, and I recorded the vocals on Logic.
Okay.
So the music is on the iPhone, and then the vocals are on Logic, and I just got in there and hammered away and dialed it in, and the result is the current version of The Ghost, and that's how it came to be.
Yeah. Let me make a couple comments there because it's funny when I think when you told me the initial story about this, I didn't know who James K. Ultra, the pain in the ass, his music name, which I love.
Yeah,
Only that I'm like resonating on that pain in the yes. Yeah, like even when you say yeah, or the pain you feel when you say yeah, or I'm a pain in the ass, or it kept going around in my mind. But anyway, I don't even know how I probably was I think it was through you somehow that I discovered his music. And I've just been like playing it. I mean, if it was a record, I'd be
Mhm.
wearing the grooves out.
Yeah.
I just love it, man. I was just like, this is so fucking good, man. I actually asked him
Thank you.
now to be the second guest on the show, but you may know he's not feeling he's under the weather. He's not
Yes,
feeling 100% right now. So also, James, if you're watching, we send all the good healing vibes out to you,
absolutely.
and we love you. Um,
Yes, we do.
and yeah, I'm just amazed by his music. So I didn't realize that first inspiration was a reel that he did. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it
And
sure
then I
was.
just want to say, one because one
Mhm.
thing when we talked, I remember. thinking about it, one thing I love about doing things in GarageBand is because the time between the idea for the song and recording it is so small.
Mm.
Because often, like, you'll be like rehearsing, if you got a full band, you're rehearsing the song with a band that goes on for months. Then you get into the
Yeah,
studio, and you're listening to the bass drum be hit for an hour, until
that's true.
you're finally set up to do the song, and then you're like, I don't care what I'm doing anymore. So
Yeah.
I really love that, with the way technology is these days, the time between inspiration, the initial inspiration, and getting it done is like that. So I think you really capture some real emotion, that you have in those initial moments of writing songs that you can never recapture later. And I just wanted to say, I really heard that on The Ghost when I first listened to it. I definitely heard that inspiration and that intimacy in the vocal. And I was so blown away, by it. I had to call you right away and leave, me singing the end part because I loved it so
Yeah.
much.
Yes, I did love that. That will live on forever and ever in my phone here. I'm touched that you were so taken by the song, and you're exactly right. You're exactly right. It went from heart immediately to record,
Yeah. And now you
and
got
it
that.
captured. Yes, I love that so much. First of all, yes, being able to do this and capture your ideas and work them up immediately,
Mm,
that's great. You can do it on the spot, and you haven't forgotten anything. And the old way is slow. It moves slow.
mm,
You lose the inspiration. You lose a little piece of what made it great in the first place,
mm.
just because it takes so long to get something finished. It's not what it you wanted it to be. And that's the old way. And the new way now is to get it done and get these ideas fresh. And you don't have to depend on other people. You don't have to teach parts to other people. You capture it on the spot. And
Yeah.
this the immediacy of that does show through in the final version of the song. And
Yeah.
so you're capturing it there. You're capturing a moment. You're capturing an emotion.
Yeah.
And musically, as far as the music for this song, yes,
Mm,
the immediacy is there. Now, the vocal, which took it, actually, the whole thing came together just from start to end, just over 2 days,
mm.
and it was done.
Yeah. And
Um,
then, so you're still having the love affair with the song. That's the great thing.
yes,
You,
yes,
you
you
always
still love
you
it.
always have a love affair with your songs, right? But then it starts dwindling after too many
Yeah,
listens. You're like, oh, okay, let's move on.
yeah, you kind of lose, you start to question, you start to doubt. We don't want that though. We need to fully believe, and we need to still be in love with it. And but when we're finished with it,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, and that so that's and I'd like to speak a little bit about the vocals and the vocal delivery on this.
yeah, yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, a big part of Tokyo Teens is my friend, dear friend, producer, and also playing guitar with me now, Billy Hume.
Mm,
And he's had huge success, mainly, believe it or not, in bluegrass and hip hop and rap. His biggest accomplishments are there, and some country as well. But since I've been working with Billy, the great one, he's taught me different vocal delivery styles.
mm,
And something that has intrigued me, and again, this is also relates back to you and what you're doing. Um, I wanted to capture a little bit of your vocal layering, the way that you do your vocals and your
mm,
harmonies in particular. But and I wanted to do it in a delivery that Billy has taught me, which is to, if you want more emotion, you sing where
mm,
you're almost whispering into the microphone,
mm.
and you can
Yeah,
catch these delicate moments in your voice, these tender little breathy moments that you're
yeah,
actually getting more emotion uh when you're almost whispering into it, and it's so emotional and it's so tender, it's
yeah,
soft. You can The listener is, they're not listening anymore, they're feeling. And so
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to do with this song. And that's exactly what I did. I had that in my mind.
yeah,
I listen to what he tells me. I do. I sometimes I just have a blank look on my face, but I'm hearing what he tells me. And I did that in this song. It turned out great. It was the perfect way to sing this song.
mm,
Uh,
yeah.
and
It's
so it
beautiful.
just makes it so much more emotional. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the vocal delivery on this song, and I'm
Yeah.
very happy that I took a cue from you and I layered these vocals in and a lot of vibrato, a lot of, and I don't even, I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to say
Oh
that
well,
person's name,
no, that's fine. Yeah,
but
yeah,
the Bowie-esque
yeah, yeah,
world that these vocals are in, and that you reside in that world to a point as well.
yeah, yeah.
That I wanted all of that in there, and it came together beautifully. And I stopped myself because I wanted to make sure it stayed within the world of the, like you say, the immediacy of the
Mm,
recording. So
yeah,
I tried to make sure it stayed stripped down, wasn't overproduced. It doesn't have too many instruments or too many things going on.
yeah,
Other than that, a repeating synth melody
mhm,
that plays throughout the entire song.
yeah,
I wanted that in there, and I put that in there too. And but that's the story on the vocal delivery on that song, which I'm extremely proud of.
yeah. Well, I love it too, and I'm glad you talked about that because too, there's when you have that like mic proximity, real close and with it's
Hmm.
like all the vulnerability, all these little things in the voice is are captured. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy you captured that in
Mm.
there. It's just
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
And
Me
the
too.
and the it's funny you say that about the harmonies because when I listened to that and I heard if you're if you guys have heard this song, and if you haven't, by the way, look for the Independent Artists Unite playlist where The Ghost is featured prominently, as will all the
Thank you.
guests from this series be featured on there. Um, and the part that I sang to you is the one. Well, tell the story of the song, or should I just read the lyrics? I'm not sure.
You can if you'd like to. I would love that actually.
Yeah,
I'm proud of these lyrics. Yes.
or do you want to read them?
Uh, You could read them. I have to
Okay.
look them. I know them. I sing this. Started
Yeah.
performing this song. Uh,
Oh, okay. You want to recite them? Yeah.
it's Oh man. Okay, so it's floating through the house
Yeah.
where we used to live. I'm watching you, though you don't see me. You don't know that I'm still here. Reliving moments locked in the memories, searching for the reasons why. You stare at my picture, a tear on the love note. You didn't get a chance to say goodbye, which speaks to the leaving, the sudden
Mm,
death.
mm.
The main character is gone. Now there's no one here. This house is empty. Everyone has moved along, but I can't leave. I'm waiting for someone. Oh, did I get that right?
Yeah, you
But
got it right. Yep.
yeah, but it's
Been
been
so
so
long. Yeah.
long. I can't remember who. So I'll stay here looking out the window, waiting in the whispering wind. But I've been waiting so long that I can't remember who I'm waiting for. Uh,
And
I've
that's
been
the
waiting
turn.
so long. Yes, that's it.
That's
And
the
that's,
turn that rips my heart out. I have been waiting so long that I can't remember who I'm waiting for. That got me.
yes, dude, that's the boulder that gets pushed off the cliff onto you. It's and
But
I chose, yeah,
that's the great thing with a great song. It reminds me of like yeah, not to completely put you on a pedestal, but it reminds me of like a Lennon McCartney thing because it would totally be McCartney who would say, "I've been waiting so long," you know, and it'd
yeah.
totally be Lennon to come in and say that I can't remember who I'm waiting for. It's
Exactly,
like Paul's the
exactly.
light and Lennon comes in with the guitar.
Yeah, just to
Yeah, yeah. But
That
the
is so
little turn
true.
or the switch of direction is so, it resonates, it's the perfect hook. And I want to know, because I've tried to do this, but you wait till the very end to do this refrain with the multiple harmonies, and
Mhm.
it's a certain device, I guess, in songwriting that I've always wanted to do. Do the whole song. Don't give them the chorus yet. Keep building it. Don't
Yeah.
do it. Keep building it up, and at the end, kapow! But
Yeah.
I've never done it as well as this, and I want to say bravo, because
Thank you.
that is so fabulous.
Thank you. That just there was no thinking involved. It just no self-awareness of what was going on. It's just it just laid out how it did. And then at the end, I decided to go high to
Mm,
bring it home, that line. Keep it low. And at the very end, when you get hit with the boom,
mhm.
go high,
Yeah.
sing high and take it home.
As you did, my
Uh
friend.
the
Beautiful.
I there's another song that I co-wrote lyrics with Billy. It's called Tears, and that's an unreleased song. That'll be on the EP that comes out later this year. Um, I a lot of my songs they tell a story somewhat, but it's more abstract.
Yeah.
And I wanted to write a song that tells more of a linear story.
Mm,
And Billy suggested I should probably focus on that. And so I wrote, and we co-wrote the lyrics, and
yeah.
uh, so we co-wrote Tears, and it's a linear story,
Mm.
which you're in love with a someone, but you never told them, and then they pass away. You find
Oh
out at
boy.
the end of the story, it's a song. They passed away, and you never got to tell them that you love them.
Mm,
A linear story, and so and that's kind of I kind of held on to that in my mind, and I wanted to do something like that here. So
mm,
you get the
yeah.
big reveal at the end of the song. So there was some inspiration there as well. But yeah, to the Lennon McCartney thing, man, thank you, because it wasn't necessarily intentional. It just kind of came together that way. Hey,
Yeah.
surprise! But
Well, I
that's
think it's
something we
brilliant
can do this
because
next
it's,
time.
yeah, to come, yeah, to wait to the very end and put that little twist on it,
Yeah,
it really brings the heartache front and center there.
yeah, yes, it works.
Um, and the lyrics, I mean, I suppose it's this universal thing of loss that we all feel, and that's the mark of a great song, really. Because I mean, a young person could listen to this and they're thinking about a hamster they lost, or
Yeah,
a girlfriend they
it's
lost,
true.
and then
Yeah,
people our age are thinking about the people we've actually lost, and
yeah,
and of course the great losses in life that none of us escape,
yeah,
our mothers, our fathers,
yeah,
our our peers, along the
yeah,
way. So
yeah. It
thank
never
you
really
for
goes
giving us
away.
the ghost. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm honored. This is the first chance I've had to talk about that song. It stands alone in my catalog, and as more singles come out, it will stand on its own even more relative to the other material.
yeah, yeah,
It is its own song. It stands alone, and I'm so proud of it. And thank you for inspiring me to do something like this.
yeah. Sure.
It just and look what happened.
Yeah.
Look what happened. It paid
And
off big time. Thank you.
are you are you good? Have you been doing it live, or are you going to do it live, or is it like a
I've done
recording
it
only?
live. I've done it live three times now.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yes, yes,
Wow.
and it gets a great response.
Yeah.
It just it I've plugged it in after an up tempo ballad or mid
Mm.
tempo ballad that I have. That's kind of like I have this song called "Heaven Inside Us." That's a real crowd pleaser. It almost sounds like something Duran Duran might have done
Oh, nice.
and never did. So it's ballad, a ballad.
Yeah.
But I plugged in the Ghost coming after Heaven Inside Us. Um, and I love Heaven Inside Us. But that's one song that the people relate to. They really it's an earworm.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I plugged in the Ghost after that in the live set, and it just works perfectly. And it sets up the rest of the set. it just happens to be one of those songs. It's nice to listen to, but live it really works because we're tagged onto the previous song and we're setting up the rest of the set.
Mhm.
It's just has worked out absolutely perfect, more than I could have expected.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm curious now because you mentioned the earworm. Is that something that you like consciously go for in each song? Because you have some great hooks in your song, some great like pop. I always mention the pop craftsmanship that you and Billy have
Mm,
together because that's I really, you know, hear that and admire that.
yeah. Thank you. Yes. The hooks, the hooks are that's what I go for. And when we're in there building these songs up for the final versions, yes, we're thinking hooks all the way.
Yeah.
Um, as a matter of fact, Dreaming of You, which was the second single,
Mhm.
those hooks at the end on the outro, it's almost like a round, and all those came up while recording the vocals.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
hey, I have a hook idea.
Yeah.
Push record,
Yeah.
and I just put one after the other, and I that's how that round of all of these little hook vocal
Yeah.
lines at the end stacked up. That's how they came to be. They were on the spot and they were not pre-planned at all. As a matter
Yeah.
of fact, the song was nothing like that before we went in. It was a
Wow.
corny, it was a corny chord progression based on a uh, that song, Never Ending Story,
Oh, yeah.
believe it or not. And it was kind of a cornball chord progression, but I like Giorgio Moroder, and so I thought, man, let's do something like that. Very corny, and we broke it down and destructed it and put it back together and ran all those hooks at the end. But the hooks are really at the forethought of every song.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, now we're gonna go to the top 10 lightning round something. I don't know what I'm gonna
All
call
right.
this, but I put 10 questions together. I'm gonna hit every songwriter that I have on this series with. So first one, first concert.
19. I'm going to age myself here, but that's cool. 1975, ZZ Top at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. I was 15. That's the first time I ever had any alcohol. It was Golden Grain alcohol. I was there all day long, 15 years old, my first concert. It was hot in the middle of the summer. I was down on the field. Uh, Everybody was hammered. I took my shirt off. It was so hot. And then some drunk chick, about 25 years old, came up and licked my belly button.
Oh, there you go.
And I thought, hey, man,
That,
I want
that
this.
that's not something you forget.
I'm in. So, yeah, that's what it was.
First album you bought with your own money.
The first album that I bought with my own money was it was Hocus Pocus by
Nice.
a band called Focus. I think that's the name. Do you remember the yodeling
Yeah, yeah,
song?
yeah, 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 yeah.
That progressive? Yeah. 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 I was like, oh, I guess I was in elementary school, of course. And that's the first album I ever bought. And the first, yeah. So, and now
Nice.
that song, I don't know that I can listen to that song anymore, but my gosh, when I was 10 or whenever I bought it, it was awesome.
First songwriting hero.
Song writing hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, that's Burt Bacharach.
Yeah.
Even as a young child, I was drawn to. I would see there was used to be a TV show called The Hollywood Palace,
Mm.
and it was a live variety show. And I remember seeing Dionne Warwick uh, sing on that show a lot, and she was singing, of course, these great Burt
Mm.
Bacharach, Hal David compositions. And
Yeah.
even as a child, there was something about that, and I thought, man, because I tried to write songs as a teenager, but some people are gifted as teenagers in that way, some aren't. I was not, and but yeah, as far back as I could remember, I
Yeah.
always thought, man, that's so like complicated. How does someone write something like that? Even as a young kid, I
Mm.
thought that.
When, of course, when Burt Bacharach died this past year, people put up tributes, and my sister, she's a musicology professor at Babson College in
Mm,
Boston, and she posted "The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance," which I hadn't thought about so long. But I loved that
wow.
song as a kid, and hearing that song again, it's just like, who does
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. The time signature changes, the modulations, just
Yeah,
everything about it is just, it's just, I don't know that anybody's really necessarily doing anything like that now. Of course, the music
yeah,
world has moved on, and I don't know that
yeah,
people are so interested in that type of pop,
yeah.
that thing. But my gosh, you don't have to be, a 50-year-old grown up to appreciate what's going on there. Even kids
Yeah.
grabbed onto that back then. Yeah.
Okay. Loop. This is from a songwriting perspective. Loop or live instrument? Which would you rather play with?
Um, loops are fine. Loops are fine. I got, yes, I like live instruments and all that, but uh no, there's this question, performing live, is that?
No, it's for like, I was thinking of it from a songwriter's perspective. Like,
Oh,
for instance, I often start with a loop. That's why I put it
yeah.
in there. Yeah, I think they're fun to play with loops and cut them up and just hear what you get
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
use
from
them.
songwriting
Yeah,
perspective. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely loops. Definitely. Yeah.
yeah. I or we when you're writing a song.
I. I.
Old wave.
That's a great question.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great, I or we. Now, uh now Paul Stanley always said uh he thought of we because they wanted to write songs with where the whole group of people are uniting and these are anthems.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
That's how I'm interpreting the question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But from songwriting, personal experience, my life, my torturous existence, definitely I.
Old wave or new wave?
Hmm. Well, old wave for me, old wave for me. The two are connected in some way, just through lineage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good with old wave.
Barbie or Oppenheimer?
What's that? What's that?
Barbie or Oppenheimer? The
Oh,
two
uh,
movies.
oh yeah, yes. Well, you know what? I I guess I guess Barbie, only because I don't know what Oppenheimer is. I actually I didn't. I'm only aware that a Barbie movie came out through looking at Instagram, but I'm not, as far as pop culture, I'm terribly unplugged. I don't know anything.
Okay.
I haven't watched the news and I don't know how long. I've got some television sets here at the house, but
Yeah.
I I I haven't turned them on in so long. I don't know. I'm literally out of touch
I think you're
with
better
modern
off.
reality.
I think you're better off.
Well, yeah, in some way, but I can't. In some ways, I'm definitely better off, and then in other ways, at a party, I don't have anything current that I can't offer anything to these conversations when they talk about. Did you hear about the such and such? No, I didn't hear about it. I'm sorry, I have nothing. Sorry, but I'm going to eat my olive now. Finish my drink.
Um, the next one is song you wish you'd written.
Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good one. A song that I wish I had written that just touches me. Um, and that's so good. And then just uh one this the first song that popped in my mind that's just so wonderful is Save a Prayer, Till the
Oh,
Morning
yeah,
After by Duran Duran. There's just
yeah,
something about that one that's magic.
yeah, yeah,
So I would go with that one. But
yeah. That's a
there's
good
a
one. Yeah.
song there's a song that also touches me in a different way, and it makes me feel great, and it's called Out in the Country. It's recorded by this vocal group from the 70s called Three Dog Night.
Oh, Three Dog Night. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Out in the Country, and it was written by the guy that co-wrote the theme from Love Boat. The short guy, it's not Simon, short blonde haired guy, and I can't think of his name
Oh,
right
oh,
now.
oh. Paul. Paul
Yeah.
Williams. Paul Williams.
Paul Williams, yes,
Yeah,
Paul Williams, yes. It was
yeah,
written by Paul Williams out in the country. And
yeah.
that song always, man, it's drive down the road, if you need your spirits lifted in a light, breezy way. That's another one that is just everything about it's perfect. And that's one, yeah, I wish I had written that one. I love it.
Okay, you win the lottery. What do you do with the money?
Well, the first thing I would do is anybody in my family that needs any assistance or any debt clearance, anything, I take care of everybody in my immediate family and make sure they're covered. And then, of course, I would build the ultimate recording studio. I would have an engineer on call all the time, and make sure I was set up in that way. And then the other thing that's very important to me would be let's find some animal charities,
Mm,
and let's put some money into some of these charities that handle wildlife, some of these animal causes, pet rescue, things like that. I'm really interested in, so I throw some money on those.
mm. Last question. If you could be remembered for just one of your songs that you've written after you die, which song would you want that to be?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a great question. The one song. Oh boy. And I'm thinking through them, and um there's a song that I haven't finished yet. Uh it's called Holding Flowers in the Rain.
Mm,
That I haven't finished. But when I finish this song, this is probably going to be the one. If this would be the one. I don't know if it's great. I don't know if it's really good. It's just the emotion that and the real life
mm, yeah,
experiences that went in and is going into this song. If I can ever get this thing finished, it's just overwhelming. This would be the one, this song, and I hope it makes it to the public, but it would be Holding Flowers in the Rain. Yeah,
nice.
which hopefully that'll see the light of day. We'll see.
Well, that's our last question, and maybe that's a good thing to end on. Is when are we going to see this EP, Jimmy?
Yeah,
Fans like me are clamoring.
thank you. And you just like you're just hit one release after the next. It's amazing. I wish I could, work that fast, but I don't know. I was thinking it was this summer, and now it's not going to be this summer, but I feel realistically, we're in July, August, September, October. I'm thinking probably, a holiday.
Halloween release.
Yeah,
That
I'm
might be
looking.
good.
There's a song called that I have called "Calling All Vampires,"
Mm,
and it's a dance song. And I want to try to get that single released by Halloween.
mm.
Hopefully, that thing could end up having a life of its own every Halloween from now on.
There you
Maybe it
go.
would become something like that. But as far as the actually, it's probably going to be more of a holiday Halloween, or between Halloween and Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably. I mean, we still got there's saxophone player we've got to bring in. We're redoing some things, but probably for a holiday release, realistically.
All right.
There are a lot of things on the slate. We got to shoot another video. The next single is probably going to be a song called "Death Becomes You."
Oh, nice.
We've got to shoot the video for that and get that done, and then hopefully, I don't know, maybe that thing will come out before the Calling All Vampires. We'll see. I don't know, but a holiday end of year release, realistically. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this, Jimmy.
Thank you.
And everyone, if you have not listened to The Ghost, you can find it on the Independent Artist Unite playlist, and we'll post a link for that. Or you can, of course, go to Tokyo Teens, follow Jimmy's Linktree link, and see all the things that he's up to. And yeah, if you've gotten this far watching this, thank you. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you again
Hit,
soon.